Okay, okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a little unprecedented stream. Was not expecting it, but the Canadian men's national team, who are on a real high, have got some massive news. If you've been following Gareth Wheeler, because he's uh he's in the know, they released some pretty insane information that we've picked up a new player. And not only is a new player, it's a player that is honestly pretty hyped. And it was a player I mentioned earlier today, and a lot of people kept messaging me saying like he's not eligible. I was heard from a very useful source that he lived in Canada, so I'm assuming, because I actually don't 100% know where the eligibility came from. If it came from the fact that he lived in Canada for the required amount of time, I'm not 100% sure, but I was told that he was eligible. So when no one was guessing him, a big shout out to someone on our series actually mentioned for me to cover him. That's the number one reason why I thought of him. And it turns out that he's eligible, and now he's a Canadian national team. Ike Ugbo, if I even pronounce his name properly, which I'm hoping I can. But this is huge. This is an awesome pickup. It was someone that I didn't even know that was on the radar. If you go to his Transfermarkt and look at his nationalities, he's got English and he's got Nigeria. So I'll give you guys a little background about him before we get into the chat. But Ike Ugbo, again, hoping I'm pronouncing his name properly. But if you even do like a good chunk of research on him, he was born in England. His dad is Nigerian, so there were some articles I read about his dad wanting him to represent Nigeria because that's where he was born. He rejected a call to Nigeria. The only information that I was told I was out there for how he was eligible for Canada is the fact that he lived in Canada for a little bit. And this kind of came out of nowhere. He was in the Chelsea Academy, which if you saw Soccer Canada's tweets just before, they put the blue and white up there, but he was a part of their youth academy in Chelsea, and of course did what every Chelsea player does, goes on loan several times. Barnsley, NK Dons, most recently went over to Belgium for one of the Bruges sides last season, where he scored 16 goals in 32 matches before getting a move to Genk. So Genk's obviously a pretty solid side in the Belgian league. He plays as a striker, so another option for us up front. This is big. This is a big move. It's impressive that we got him in, and I don't know if it's just looking at this national team, seeing the hype around them, knowing that they're potentially on course of qualifying for a World Cup. They're the guarantee World Cup in 2026, but this is huge, and I'm very excited. I want to give a shout out. If anyone in the chat was that individual who commented on our Canadian national team abroad series, let us know, because they messaged me and said cover Ike Ugbo, and I did some research on him, and I couldn't figure out where it came from, but let's get in the chat, man, because this is something that we should celebrate a little bit. I might bring up Transfermarkt maybe, just to show you guys a little bit more, but maybe we'll get into that in a little bit. But James is here, says, let's effing go. Fired right up. And I'm pumped too, man. I'm absolutely pumped, man. It is huge news. Huge news. Kyle comes in, says, welcome to the random player eligible for your national team group. It is a bit of random because, like I said, like Gareth Wheeler's all day throwing out, the tweets to make us all being like, what's going on? Gareth, come on, just tell us who it is. And no one guessed him earlier. And like I said, a lot of people were reaching out to me saying, Josh, he's not eligible. He cannot play. So obviously wherever that information came from was not super truthful, but regardless, I could care less, really, man. I could care less. Herdman works his magic. He did, and obviously this means that he's going to be included for the upcoming window. He's going to be included for the games. I don't know, obviously, how many minutes he will get, but it's a great option because, in my opinion, for the striker pool that we have with Akinola being out, I know Cavallini does do it for the Canadian men's national team, but let's be honest. I mean, he's not doing it for the Caps whatsoever. Brian White is taking that position up all to his own. Dahomey as well. It's hard for Cavallini to get those minutes, so it's hard for him to get minutes in the national team. So this is massive, man. It's absolutely massive. 16 goals last year in Belgium as well is nothing to shy away from. How many forwards do you want? Canada, yes. It helps when we play this system with the 3-5-2, but we've been kind of going into these wingers of lately with Schaffelberg coming in, Miller coming in. So it'll be interesting to see what system he does. But I mean, any national and another beautiful man to join the Canucks abroad team. It's gonna be pretty cool to see. Paul's coming in, says Brampton East. and Scarborough Woodbridge strikers for the soccer club. Dates are foggy. So Paul, I'm assuming that's where the information was, that he played for Brampton East Soccer Club and Woodbridge Strikers Soccer Club. Very interesting. James comes in, says he played for Brampton and okay, when he was younger. I was always curious though how many years you had to be in Canada, because I thought it was 5. And again, it's hard to find, like you said, it was foggy information to figure out how long he was actually in Canada for. But I mean, man, it shows what our national team is doing right now, getting some big names coming up here and adding depth now to our striker chart right now. Canada's second best team in CONCACAF with dual nationals. Not a bad one to add. Not a bad one to add. This is a pleasant surprise. For years, we wrote it off because we thought it only was 4 years in Canada. Eric, that's very cool. I didn't, because again, I doing research on it, and which again, with breaking news today, when the research was like a little bit, I couldn't figure out exactly how long he was in there, and that's what it was going to dependent on. So very curious. He obviously was eligible. He must have lived in Canada for the required amount of time, and then it just circled back up. And John Herdman doing what John Herdman has done. I'm assuming, because I don't know, I'm assuming he reached out and found a way to get it done. But if you listen to that recent interview with John Herdman, you know what a character he is, and what an intelligent guy he is. So I mean, having someone like him, and again, Herdman is from England. I mean, if you listen to that conversation, he talks up basically moving out, and the best thing that he's done is go out of England. And by doing that, this is kind of what our boy here did. So it's pretty cool to see. Choosing Canada over Nigeria, who are very good, is huge. Yeah, he was also eligible, and I thought it was very interesting to note, again, from the research I did, that his dad wanted him to play for Nigeria because that's where his father was born. So very, very cool. I would love to see first interview or something around him to get some perspective behind the scenes. But yeah, I was not expecting to do this stream today. We don't have producer T here, guys. It's why, the quality's a little off, but I could care less. I wanted to come out here and celebrate a big W for Canadian men's national team fans today, and that's exactly what we're doing. Canucks Hub is in here. Oh yeah, there was a lot of speculation. Jebsen was another big one. There were about 5 or 6 names, just with all of Garrett's little riddle. You had to match it. Like Justin Smith was a big one, but let's be honest, Justin Smith wasn't in France's crosshairs anytime soon. But this hit everyone. He could have been called up for Nigeria. He's playing in a solid lead. 16 goals last year. Again, nothing to tear down at. Jonathan David scored 23 and 40 in his last season in Belgium. Ugbo got 17 and 34 last season. Armin coming in with the stats. Hope you're doing well today, Armin. But yeah, those are some good numbers, man. Those are some Jonathan David type numbers. And obviously getting the 17 goals in the Belgian league got him the move to Genk, which is where he's playing right now. We'll bring up some stats on him because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've followed the player a lot. Honestly, one of you guys in our Canucks or Canadian men's national team abroad series mentioned him and said, Josh, I'd like you to cover him. And I did research. I'm like, how is he eligible for Canada? I don't get it. And that was last week. I'll try to find the comment, but whoever it was, you deserve a massive shout out because this is a great little pickup. Exactly what you agreed here. Great pickup, should be a great super sub. It is. And playing, if Herdman goes back into that 3-5-2 system, because we don't know what it's going to be like or what his main system is. We've seen him touch a little bit on the 4-2-3-1, seeing Azorio drop in that cam position, playing David and Laren not side by side, because even when they play side by side, sometimes it doesn't just gel. But we do like, and we can do the 3-5-2 system. We do have that striker pool, and I'm very curious to see what he's going to be like joining up with the squad. It's going to be a lot of fun. Laren is available for the next break. He is. Liam Miller just scored again. Paul, it's a W. That's a W. Good for him. Miller has found a fantastic little home in Switzerland right now. Very cool to see, because they were losing earlier 1-0 before I jumped on the live here. A nice goal as well. I think he moved to Canada from England when he was 4 and went back to England when he was 9. That is wild. So he was apparently in Canada just long enough to be eligible for the Canadian men's national team, which is huge, guys. Be honest in the chat. Let me know if you guys were familiar with this player. Because, I mean, he wasn't on my radar until a viewer on the channel told us to check him out. And I still honestly didn't know if he was even eligible. So it is. This is completely out of left field and a welcome addition, considering some of the striker problems we've had in the Gold Cup, some of the striker problems we've had in recent windows, just with injuries. It's frustrating. So this is a beautiful little pickup here. I'm so happy because this means Cavallini will never play for Canada again. Not on the Cavallini train. To be fair, in Cavallini's defense, Cavallini usually performs for the Canadian men's national team. He's got a very good goal scoring record for Canada. You can't take that away from him. The issue I have with Cavallini is that he's being outdone by quite some distance by Brian White. I watch a lot of Caps games. Brian White is a fantastic striker, and he just completely taken the knot off of Cavallini, which makes it harder to get in. And call me a Euro snob or not, it excites me finding a striker like this who's playing in Europe, playing in a good league, and seeing some numbers he put up last year. Which, like I said, you can't. Armin pointed out, you can't take that away from him either. He put up 16 goals from Wikipedia. 16 goals in 32 matches. He's got 2-9 right now for Genk, which can't take that away from him either. Showing that he's a goal scorer. A lot of hype on the Canadian Twitter day, which is good. Eric says for him, it was super close back against Bruges. He released a video on him, and he said that he started soccer in Canada around 4 or 5, and then he went to Chelsea by 9. Well, can't look back at anything now. All we can do is celebrate, guys. Picking up another, it's important. You never know exactly when depth is going to come into play. And like I said, we can look back at the striker position as a massive, massive hole because of what happened in the Gold Cup with the injuries, what happened in the last windows. You're going to always want depth in any position, any dual national out there. And I'm assuming Herdman knows this because he's done it. We should go after. We should give our pool as depth as it possibly can be. This is a massive, massive pickup, and we're all excited. A lot of fired up people in the chat right now. So if you guys are just tuning in, be sure to drop a like, say hello, and let me know how excited you guys are, because this one absolutely came out of left field. I thought Wheeler was toying with us today. Kind of thought it'd be Jebsen, but we move on. Hey Josh, who is this guy from? Ethan. I guess just the background story. He was a gentleman born in England. He moved apparently from, again, information I'm literally learning on the spot, moved to Canada at 4 or 5, and obviously stayed in Canada the required amount of time to make you eligible to represent them. He then went on and moved over and had some successful loan spells, finding himself in Belgium. He plays for Genk right now. Scored 16 goals in the top flight in the Belgian league last year, which is good numbers, similar numbers to Jonathan David. And yeah, like I said, the one big thing I found to note is that his dad is born in Nigeria and wanted his son to represent Nigeria. Nigeria is obviously a country that has had a lot of success, qualifies for World Cups over and over. They're a good and a hard-fought country to be able to try to convince him over. And somehow John Herdman came out of left field and got this done, which is absolutely massive. So must have barely made the cutoff. Yeah, honestly, it sounds like he was in Canada for like 5 years. This is insane. The goals are going to be coming for Canada. Players going to keep coming out of the woodwork for the Canadian men's national team. Absolutely, Aaron. I agree with you 100%. How tall is this guy? Let's take a look. He's 6'1", so it should be a nice little option in the air as well. We're gonna have to keep an eye on him as well. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to watch him on DAZN. Does anybody know we'll be able to catch him? We're all excited to watch Tajon Buchanan. I can't remember if DAZN still has the rights for them or not, but he'd be a nice little player to keep an eye on as well. Yes, he is 6 foot. He's 6'1". No clue who this guy is. Honestly, like I said, he came out of left field today. The only person who's mentioned it to me was the gentleman who was in our chat who said, "Josh, you have to check this guy out. He's eligible for Canada." He seemed convinced, and he was obviously right. Never heard of him until now. Well, we'll go on Transfermarkt here, just to give you guys a bit of an idea, I guess, of what his path looked like. So let's take a look. So he rocks number 21 guns for, and he says his citizenship now is Canada. I like it. Place of birth was England. He's born in London. He's on a contract right now until June 30th, 2025. He's got a market value of 4.95 mil. Obviously, it skyrocketed last year when he had success scoring those 16 goals. Like I said, he was a part of Chelsea's academy coming up, going on the loan crew, had a season over in the Netherlands, and then obviously with Bruges in Belgium getting those goals and then getting the big move to Ghent. So seems like a pretty promising player, 23 years of age, eligible for England, Nigeria, Canada, and somehow our boy John Herdman who deserves a round of applause for showing that the Canadian men's national team is absolutely a destination you may want to obviously come to, because guess what? We're on pace right now of qualifying for a World Cup, on top of the fact that we're guaranteed one in 2026. And this was a surprise. It was a cool day. I want to get your guys' opinions as well. If you're just tuning into the chat, be sure to drop a like. Let me know if you were familiar with our boy here, or if you had no idea who Ugbo was. We'll go back into the chat and see what you guys are saying. They have some time to train in international break compared to other ones. Really helped them in the Gold Cup. Hope to see Ugbo and David partnership. It will be too. And the interesting thing as well, guys, is the fact that when we do play that 3-5-2 and we have the dream of Laren and David, it seems to me that sometimes that those two just don't mesh. They haven't been stellar. With one shines, the other one seems to be a little bit quiet. And I usually refer to David in that way. David and Cavallini had an excellent partnership, getting a ton of goals. But in recent matches, the Laren David partnership isn't exactly kind of what we want it to be. So I think maybe having that extra body in there, rotated around, will be very useful. But I mean, obviously, we would like to get both David and Laren firing. But this is a very cool pickup. Ugbo's going to be hopefully a fantastic little player, and we'll hopefully get a look at him in the upcoming window as well. Most Canada hardcores knew about him, but the word was that he was, and that was like, I quoted Wheeler today and said, Ugbo, is he the guy? And then no one answered me, but I just had a bunch of people saying he's not eligible, which I didn't know. I didn't know if he was or he wasn't. He was the only player to me that made sense, that ticked off every single one of the boxes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hyped are you for the upcoming window? A 10, but it's a lot of it's nervous. I think it's very, very important we win that match over Costa Rica. I think the Costa Rica game is going to be one of the, if not the most important 3 points we could pick up, because it will separate us from that 5th to 4th range. Because I want to finish top 3, baby. I'm hoping for a 4-point window. If we can get a win against Costa Rica and we can get a point against Mexico, that's a W. But this hyped me up even more. Going out there, finding some type of dual national. This had to take a little bit of work. They must have somehow figured out. John Herdman must have got on the phone and be like, I need to figure this out, and I need to recruit players, because that's how we're going to get better as a footballing nation. And we did exactly that. But it's definitely a surprise. And this is another example. I mean, with no disrespect to Brim or Theo Baird. I mean, these are players that are going to be useful from time to time. But I mean, this looks to be a big upgrade in that position, and adds just a little bit more depth. When Akinola comes back, you got Ugbo now, you got David, you got Laren. That's 4 pretty solid strikers right there, with Cavallini still obviously there if needed. Pretty cool day for Canadian men's national team fans. Heard of the name because of Football Manager, didn't know any connection. I'm a big follower of the Canadian men's national team for a long time. There you go, Tyson. I did not know that either. I need to find the name of the gentleman who commented in our last video and said him, because he deserves a big shout out. How we feeling about a front 6? Front 6? Again, it'll be interesting to see what John Herdman does. I don't know how quickly he'll be integrated into minutes. I doubt he'll get a start against Costa Rica or Mexico, but I bet you he'll come off the bench for one of the 2 matches, which is pretty exciting as well. And Ethan said, I read that his dad wanted him to play for Nigeria, and that is true. I read that as well. And honestly, like, it speaks volumes, though. Like, I'm just picturing if my dad, who was born in another country, came up to me and said, Josh, the national team's looking for you. I really want you to represent Nigeria. I was born there. And it just obviously didn't turn his head enough. And then John Herdman comes in with his sweet talking ways and figures it away and pitches a project in the proper kind of way to get Ugbo on board, which I think is fantastic. And again, shows the pedigree. I mean, winning these type of battles with dual nationals is vital. We have Jebson who's coming up, Flores as well, Diaz as well. There's a lot of them out there. And the more that you see commit, like you see today, will give other dual nationals being like, oh, they bypassed Nigeria to come to Canada. Like, something is happening there. The World Cups that are coming up, it's fantastic to see and very exciting for any Canadian men's national team supporter out there, especially in front of this big couple game window we have here. He's getting subbed on versus West Ham right now. Okay. We're going to toss on to Zone. We're going to turn this into a little watch along. I did not know that. That's super cool. Well, I guess the guy is playing right now. Let's just go a little look over to FootMob right now and take a look. That's hilarious. He is, yeah. Genk is playing right now. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at how Genk lines up. So they line up in the 4-2-3-1. And Ugbo just got subbed on in the 87. So it doesn't look like he's been a major starter this year. But he, like I said, he has scored a couple goals, which is good, and not a ton of starts. But he's definitely a player we're going to have to keep an eye on a little bit more right now. But that's funny that he's playing right now. Brady's fired right up. Our forward depth is amazing. It's funny because we keep saying it's amazing, but we keep running into situations where injuries have been hurting us. So, I mean, hey, I guess if injuries come up, what are we going to do? John Hurban's going to pull a masterclass and find a way to get some bodies in the door, which is fantastic. But a lot of you guys are fired right today, and some special news. But I think it's funny that he's playing right now against West Ham. Steve says, I don't know who he is. Is he a good footballer? From what I see, he's a very promising young footballer. 23 years old, brought up from the Chelsea Academy, and is doing it right now in Belgium. So I think that getting this call up for the Canadian national team is going to be big for him. And I think everyone's just a little fired up. It's amazing winning these dual national battles because it seems like Canada is winning more and more of them. Jebsen is accepted a call up too. We have so many forwards. Jebsen. Is that true? Did Jebsen accept a call up? My Twitter is going a little wild right now. But Canadian men's national team are just having fun with it right now. Just subbed on as well. So the Canucks Abroad can get all over that on Twitter. He's on against West Ham. Well, if you guys are watching the match, I mean, I'm trying to tune in here, but let me know how he played. He came on very late. Sorry I'm late. This cannot be the player Gareth was talking about unless Nigeria wanted him to feature in qualifying. That's what I was assuming. Like I said, when I was tweeting earlier today, trying to just figure out who it was, he was the only one in my eyes who clicked the boxes. I mean, obviously coming up through Chelsea, playing at a pretty competitive level in Belgium, scoring a good chunk of goals, and then having Nigeria interested in him. And it has shown from what we've researched very briefly that Nigeria, at least at some point, was interested. So yeah, I mean, it fit all the boxes. The big question mark around him was Ugbo, was he eligible or not? And it seems like he was. We went from unattached FC 5 years ago to 3 big names at 23. Yeah, like I always tell this story, guys. I remember being really, really excited years ago when Dwayne De Rosario scored a penalty to score the only goal in the Gold Cup, and we lost out on 0 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses in the group stage. And I was excited that we scored a goal. And now the team looks different. Now the team is on the verge of competing and potentially qualifying for a World Cup. So we've gone a long, long way. I can't credit John Hurban enough because he just gives everything to this project, and he's such an amazing manager. And if you haven't listened to that interview that's out there right now, you need to listen to it because it just shows the type of manager that he is and the reason he can convince players to join the Canadian national team and want to play under him. It's massive, massive news. Agree, Costa Rica match is huge. I believe we can win it. Both of them are at home. If we walk away with 4 points, guys, that is something else. 4 points. Again, because the biggest ones for me with Costa Rica is the fact that we separate ourselves from them in that dangerous 4 to 5 place range. Because I know 4 still technically gets you the opportunity, but you don't know who you're going to go up against. And it could be a dangerous affair to go into that interconfederational playoff. We want 3rd, and I think we're good enough for 3rd. JJD TV fan comes in, says, yo, why isn't Arfield on the team? I don't know if I have enough time to get into detail on that. I wouldn't expect Arfield on. If anything, I would expect him potentially in January. If he's not used in January, for my personal opinion, I think that his national career is probably over. But would Tomori be eligible for the national team if he chose to? I believe he would have been. I don't know. There's a big gray area around that. He recently just got capped again from England. So even if he somehow was, you'd have to wait another 3 years. So no, he's not. Tomori is, if he was ever eligible, he's no longer eligible. He will never, unfortunately, represent the Canadian national team. That's fine. That's fine. We have other options out there to hunt down and find. And we just started today. Ugbo, our guy, new Canadian national team player. Does this pressure on Jebsen? Front line is crowded. That's a good question. Because you're right. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jebsen. I want to see him have success in League One. I want to see him potentially get that call up. I think that he would be an interesting player to come in. But again, he's playing at, in my opinion, a lower level than what Ugbo is playing at right now. Definitely what Laren and David are playing at. It's an opportunity, I think, for him to potentially commit sooner rather than later to try to get his way in here, especially with another direct competition with him just committed. It may force his hand to try to get into the team at a younger age, have Herdman groom him a little bit, get that national team experience. But yeah, I think it, honestly, I think it does put a little bit of pressure on him as well. We have good depth in forwards. We do. The U.S. men's national team's a little bit jealous, but they're starting to pick it up a little bit. Flores made Mexico debut. No, he's not eligible anymore, I thought. I believe he still is eligible. If anything, he made Mexico debut for the youth team, which you have to have a cap at the national level. I don't think we're going to get Flores, for my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure he's going to represent Mexico, but I mean, hey, Ugbo's dad wanted him to represent Nigeria. John Herdman did the magic, so we'll have to wait and see, but I think Flores, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I'm pretty sure Flores is still eligible for Canada, but again, I'm not holding my breath on that one. Is he from Genk, and how old is he? He's 23. He's in England, like he was born in England. He plays for Genk. He had a good season in Belgium last year, scoring 16 goals, which got him his big move to a higher up Belgian side. But yeah, he's not from there. He's not Belgian. Canada are third so far. Top 3 teams qualify, and the 4th team goes to the playoff in another region. Yes, we want to avoid that. Nigeria Super Eagle fans were posting on Twitter this morning. Ugbo was going to commit to them soon. Oh, that's got to hurt. That's got to sting. It did sting. Remember the feeling, guys, we had when Tomori got that last cap for England? That was just a little, little gut jab there. This was unexpected. This came out of absolutely left field, and it fired me right up. I'm excited to hopefully tune into a couple matches soon to take a look at this guy, because I'm genuinely pretty excited about it. This is cool. Like I said, getting dual nationals, whether you want to believe it or not, I think will open doors for more. I think, like the perfect example you guys just used, Daniel Jebsen is now looking at this being like, crap, I thought I had a little bit more time to maybe weigh it out, see how my development goes. But it looks like Canada's recruiting more and more up front for that striker pool. That's where I want to play. If I'm going to have a success at the national level, it'd be nice to get in the door now, get familiar with the system, get familiar with the coach. There are potentially 2 World Cups coming up. It's some big decisions some of these players are going to have to make. And Ugbo's the first one. Well, not the first one, because we have been recruiting dual nationals for some time now. But he's another one, the latest one to a solid list of dual nationals we've been able to turn. And again, I put a lot of that credit down to the amazing work that Herdman is doing. Hope we call up Jebsen soon. I do too. I feel like it's still in Jebsen's court. I feel like it's his decision whether he wants to take it or not. I'm assuming they're having conversations behind the scenes. I don't know. But I'm assuming when Jebsen's ready, we'll probably try to tie him as soon as possible. Not going to lie, I think we have the best group of forwards in CONCACAF now. I strongly agree with that. I arguably say I agreed with that before getting Ugbo on here, but just shows even more depth we have, and I'm excited to see what this kid can do. Improves our forward depths. Brem, Akindele slide down the depth chart. Yeah, and yeah, there is a decent drop off in my opinion. I mean, Enen's still another one. Richie Enen is one who a lot of people were guessing today. I didn't think that. I mean, apparently he's eligible for Ghana. I'm assuming down the line, potentially in January, we may be able to call him up, but he's another one to that pool as well. I think Brim, Akindele are sliding a little bit more down. I highly doubt, unless we have a pile of injuries, we're going to see Akindele anytime soon. It's right now the depth chart for me is David, Laren. Probably now Ugbo is third for me. Impressive numbers, playing in a competitive league. I'm really excited to see him. Akinol is obviously injured, but probably Cavallini's still sitting in fourth. But I mean, I think it's just a matter of time unless Cavallini can turn around his domestic form. Everyone needs to show him love on socials. I like that, guys. I'll do that as well. If you can find him on Twitter, show him some love. Make sure he knew he made the absolute correct decision. And we're going to show him a lot of love come hopefully his first match coming up soon. CONCACAF qualifying for the World Cup goes till the end of March. It does. Is Tomori still eligible? No, he is not. We will never see Tomori in a Canada shirt. If we get 6 points, we'd be top of the table, just saying. It'd be huge, man. It'd be huge. I mean, we went to the Azteca and picked up a historic point, so it's still hard to think we could take all 3, but this group of guys has shown that they can absolutely compete. I mean, I would really, really enjoy 4 points. I would take that and run. But who knows? Maybe it's another big historic night and we take 3 points from Mexico. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have a nice match preview coming up. We're going to get Owen back on the channel. I haven't told him that yet. But Owen, if you are watching, I'm going to need you for a match preview. We don't want third place. We want first place. I love the mentality, baby. I love the mentality, Manny. It is. It's a different mindset, and I'm someone who's been through it since the time I've been alive. I've followed this sport very in depthly my whole life, and it's just very interesting seeing the way this national team has changed and the quality, and it's honestly a bit of the mindset. I like it. F it, let's go for first. Whether it's realistic or not, the mentality is there to think that this group could do something special. And taking points away from the U.S. and Mexico is definitely a big portion to that, as well as now obviously getting another dual national that we are all pretty excited for. It's possible, and what we've got to play for, gotta play to win. Absolutely, the GOAT Messi. If we don't get Flores, we must get Luka Diaz. I think Diaz is more realistic than Flores, in my opinion. Again, I don't have any insight knowledge. This is just from my gut, but it was the youth national team, so he is still eligible. Yeah. From what Flores has not represented the Mexican national team yet, but like I said, I'm pretty confident Flores is probably going to represent them, but we don't know. Flores is still eligible for Canada. Yeah, there's a few. There's a lot of names today. Solomon from Israel was one that kept coming up. There's a lot of cool dual nationals that should also give some Canadians a lot of hype, because there's still more. John Herman's not done yet, guys, but Flores is one. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being negative. I don't mean to be. I don't know. I just have a feeling Mexico will probably win that battle. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, big shout out to Forge, baby. Right there. Big shout out to Forge, man. Making history. And yeah, and I want to say big shout out to Pacific as well. If you guys watch those, not to get off topic, but if you watch those CPL teams go toe to toe with the MLS squads in Montreal and Toronto, there's not a big gap there. There's not, but it's super cool. Forge, I thought, was very, very unlucky. Pacific had a good match as well, especially that second half. But yeah, Forge, big congratulations to them making history as well. The news came out of nowhere. Great way to light the fire for the Canmnt national team fans. But don't forget my boy Ayo Akinola. It's a shame what happened to Akinola. I was hoping that he was going to be up the pecking order a little bit. I thought he was getting good form for TFC. He was linked to the Turkish league very briefly as well, and unfortunately a very serious injury knocked him out. But I'm hoping he comes back strong as well. But again, we're never going to say no to depth, man. Never going to say no to depth. Thomas comes in, says, cheers, man. Good Canada content. Cheers, my friend. Hope you're doing well today. I'm sure that you're pretty excited. Look fresh in that picture as well. I like it. But cheers, Thomas. Hope you're doing well, and I appreciate the kind words there. If you guys do like the content, be sure to drop a like on the stream, drop a sub as well, and let me know how fired up you guys are for our newest Canadian national team player. Poor guy has to play in Edmonton in the winter, might never come back, or maybe he'll want to be called for the Caribbean. It'll be a wake up call, man. It'll be a wake up call, but you know, we've all done it. We played it. It's Canada, man. We played in the cold. So that's all good. Brady says 4 points is a target, but we are going for 6. Brady, my guy. I like it, man. I said it's a mentality switch. Going up against Costa Rica, going up against Mexico, and the mentality is that we might be able to take 6. I like it, and it's the proper way of thinking, man. And if you've listened to the way some of these Canadian national team players talk, and Jonathan and Alfonso Davies had some nice words when apparently in the dressing room he gets the odd shot at for playing for the Canadian national team, and he's taking it with a grain of salt, man. And I love watching Davies play for this national team, because he just goes out there with a point to prove every single time, and he's going to be a big reason to why this national team has success. But yeah, and also Liam Miller, just I can't get enough of him. And again, like playing for FC Basel, who I keep saying now is my Swiss team, guys. They should be all of our Swiss teams. He's getting a big move. They're playing in the 4-2-3-1 system. He's playing as a left attacking mid, which is fantastic, because that's exactly a position that I think the Canadian national team would like to have options with. And he's getting good minutes. He's finding a great partnership with Arthur up front. And if you guys didn't know, Arthur got a call up for the Brazilian national team. So that's pretty impressive, because if you look at his numbers, I believe he's well over a goal every match. So there's a beautiful little duo there. I'm hoping that he can get some success playing in Europe, going a deep run there, hopefully win the league as well. But it's great to see him scoring again. Was trying to watch that match. I don't think it was on DAZN, so I was keeping an eye on Arfield instead, which, you know, we don't know if he'll ever be back. But yeah, Liam Miller is someone who I'm really happy for, because I didn't know where he was going to go. I was personally thought he was going to find a championship club, which guys know that's a very grueling league. And when I found out he was going to Switzerland and going to play in a competition where he could have an opportunity to compete at the top of the table and get European football, it seemed like a no-brainer, as opposed to someone like Corbiano who joined a League One team. Now, big shout out to Corbiano because he's finally getting played and got a goal and assist with a great match he had for Wednesday. But it's all that next move for some of these young players is super important because they need to find a way to grow, and Miller's absolutely found that. So I'm pumped for him, and hopefully he can take that form into the national team this upcoming window. This is a golden generation for Canada. They have to make it to the World Cup. And again, it's a big mentality thing as well, and I think it's huge to qualify for one rather than hosting one. Because hosting one, you're guaranteed. It is what it is. And I'm excited because hopefully, I can be a big part of that and hopefully be able to cover some of the stuff for you guys when that comes. But having one in 2022 that this group was good enough to qualify for, I think is going to speak volumes as well and show other players like Ugbo here that this is why you commit. This is why you're going and believing in the system, believing in the process, which is just huge, man. I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped. Big week for the CPL. USL teams often get blown out by the MLS teams and the US Open Cup. It was, Brady. And like I said, that gap is not... Forge could have easily won when it went down to a shootout. And Pacific, I think, if it went the other way, Toronto came out really strong. Schaffelberg had a great game. Big shout out to him as well. But coming in that second half, Pacific really found their own. It's a shame that Boots went out because he had a beautiful story to get to this match and unfortunately picked up an injury. But... by the way, Josh, my dad is planning to enroll me in the University of British Columbia, considering Pacific is in Langford, which is a boat ride away from Vancouver. Congratulations, JJD TV memes, big Pacific fan. How is he eligible for Canada? From our understanding, again, he was someone I kept tossing out today on Twitter, and we were told that he wasn't eligible because he wasn't in Canada long enough. So apparently, and again, I don't 100% know, this is just coming from some sources that we see on the internet / on our chat today, is that apparently he moved to Canada when he was 4 or 5. So probably 4, and he lived there till he was 9. So the fact that he lived in Canada for 5 years allowed him to be eligible, and he obviously must have had a conversation with John Herdman and liked the project that was there and committed out of absolutely left field. But that's how. He lived in Canada for 5 years. Born in England to a Nigerian father. MLS should have relegation and promotion. There are 27 teams in MLS, 8 teams in Canada Premier League. If they combine them, they can have 35. That's more than enough. The issue, I can't get off topic here, but the issue with the closed league system versus one is that it would derail investors because you're not guaranteed that success. You could be absolutely crap. Look at Colorado last year, and now look at Colorado this year. It's more risk for an investor knowing that if you get relegated, you may not get back up. And yeah, there's a whole list of reasons why I don't think the MLS will ever leave a closed league. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. Me and Manuel wanted to discuss it a little bit, but I can't get into it quite yet. Definitely got to play for 6 points. Playing for a draw is the wrong mentality. I agree with that. And I wasn't, and I should verify, I wasn't saying we should play for the draw, but I'd be happy if we went toe-to-toe with Mexico and walked away with a draw. And I don't think this team is going to play for a draw. I think this team has got the confidence that the World Cup is getting closer and closer, man. They know it. They can feel it. I'm hoping that they have a statement victory over Costa Rica and then go in there and hopefully get something out of that Mexico game to put us in a really good position going into the next window. Miller scored again today. All the love, Will. All the love for my boy Liam Miller. Definitely got to play for 6 points. I read that one. Should play for 6 points and aim for qualification. We should and we will. Grade qualifying is so much different than being in it because you're hosting. It is. It's like, again, there's all kinds of reasons that turn the head of a dual national. And I think if we were sitting in 7th place right now, knowing that we may not qualify for this upcoming World Cup, yes, we're guaranteed one in 2026, which is a long time from now. I think it can give a different mindset to some of these dual nationals, being like, they're struggling. They're not winning against El Salvador. They're not winning against Panama. I think the fact that we're doing so well and some of the mentality and some of the big name players like Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, it all pieces together to give the opportunity to get some massive players and get some dual nationals to turn their head and be like, this is a project I want to invest in. I want to give my national career to. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. And I think it's a big statement. And it's why it blew up Twitter a little bit for Canadian national team fans. Okay, we can get some defenders. That would be great. Getting solid players. Yeah. I mean, Justin Smith's one who I think will be a little bit down the road. There are some other options out there. I mean, I think Joel Waterman might potentially get a look at playing on the outside right center back in the back three for Montreal. Obviously, being the outside right center back for Canada, it's Alistair Johnston, and then it's pretty open for the depth there. I mean, you could argue Frank Stirring could be one, but I definitely wouldn't argue it. I mean, I think the MLS is a much higher league than what Frank Stirring's playing in. No disrespect to the Austrian second division, but I mean, I would take probably Joel Waterman over Frank Stirring at this point. What are his stats? Let's take a look, guys. We'll read off some of his stats over the previous years for you guys if I can find them. All right, I can. All right, so let's take a look. So he scored. I mean, he was like I said, he was part of Chelsea's loan army. He went to the Netherlands. I don't know if he was playing. I don't know where they were last year, but he scored 13 goals in 28 games, which is kind of his coming out. I don't know if it was in the Netherlands first division or second division. I don't know where Roto was playing at the time. And then he got the move to Belgium where he scored 16 goals in 32 appearances and then got the big permanent move because he was on loan for 5 years, Chelsea player. And then got the big move for him to Genk. And it doesn't look like he is a starter right now. I'll have to do a little bit more analysis on him because I'm just learning about it, but it doesn't look like he's been a starter. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not. It shows that he's played in 12 matches and scored 4 goals for Genk, sitting in 7th place. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at a couple of their other matches. Their latest match in the league was on the 31st. They won 6-2, and our boy did not start. He did come off the bench on the 80th. Either way, hopefully he'll prove that he can get in there and get in that starting 11. I was waiting for Tomori. You'll be waiting a long time, my man. I saw Nigerian fans saying that they should get the call up for them. Yeah, we were seeing that as well, and found a better option. No disrespect. Tomori is already English tied. Yes, he is. Also salary cap, designated player rules. Yeah, there's a ton of reasons why the MLS will stay a closed league for the foreseeable future. If USA loses to Mexico, we could go second. Let's hope they do. 22 is huge because it feels like we've earned it. 26 is a gift. Will, I agree with you 100%. 100%. It's a totally different mentality. It was a gift. We're getting a gift in 2026, which I'll happily take. But I think getting the momentum of qualifying for a World Cup in 2022 just adds to that. We're legit. Like this, if you're going to play for the Canmnt national team, expect to go to World Cup. That's kind of what it's telling me, knowing that. I mean, you get the one because you qualified, you're guaranteed for 2026, and these players are just going to get older and going to get better. It's honestly, it's fantastic. I totally agree with you. I got a nice little stat here. We'll see. A player appearing for a qualifier is eligible to switch provided they haven't played more than 3 times and it's been 3 years from their last appearance. Yeah. So I think coming up in November 2022 would have been 3 years since Tomori made his last appearance for England, but he just got cap tied again. So we can kiss any luck to have Tomori. Yeah, he's done. We got to move on. Bowen says we got to move on. Could you see Davies playing at left back, left wing back more often for us? No, absolutely not. And I don't think he should. Alphonso Davies will be playing at the furthest back. In my opinion, you guys let me know if you disagree, but I think Alphonso Davies and John Herman have a complete statement. I think that a left wing, left attacking mid, left wing back will be the 3 positions you'll see. Whether we play the 3-4-3, I think you're going to see him as a left winger. We play the 4-2-3-1, a left attacking mid, or potentially, but I don't know, potentially the 3-4 or the 3-5-2, you'll see him as a wing back. But I guess the deepest you could see him if we decide to go for a 2 other wingers up front, you could potentially go that 3-4-3 and have him as a wing back. But I don't think in a back 4 you're going to see Alphonso Davies as the left back. Not in CONCACAF. It's a waste of his talent, man. He runs through the CONCACAF the way he does for a reason. You need to put him up top. I mean, he played as a striker. Picture playing FIFA. You guys have all done it. Come on. You've all played FIFA, and it's late in the game, and you just toss Davies up front as striker. That's what Herdman did last time out. And you know what? He did a great job at it. But he's too deadly to be wasted away in a back four as a left back. Davies is still very, very influential in the match, playing from a wing back role, but it's just because he's got that versatility going up, and I think that he blends very well with Richie Larea playing from the left-hand side. So I really like, honestly, the 4-2-3-1 with Larea at left back, Davies at left attacking mid, or the 3-4-3 with Larea at left wing back and Davies at left wing. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know, what do you think Alphonso Davies' best position is for the Canadian national team? Post it in the chat right now, guys. We'll go through a few as well. That's a good question, Brady. It's a good question. I don't know if you heard about the January camp, but they're planning on bringing in all dual nationals. Any truth to that? I can't state whether it is true or it isn't because I don't have enough information. I've heard something similar of the likes of, you're going to see a lot more players playing in Europe potentially come in. That's why I said Richie Ennen was a good example as well. Playing over in Russia could be a good opportunity for him to come in January, but I don't 100% know. We're going to have to wait and see. It'll be interesting with the MLS obviously ending, how influential some of those players will be. The rumor was if Arfield came back, it would be in January. But again, I can't speak to any of that truth because I don't honestly know. But it wouldn't surprise me if you see some European players coming in. And I honestly, I don't even know how big the Russian break is, for example. Just seeing if Ennen was playing anyways. But yeah, I could see a little bit more variety of players coming in. Gloria Amanda could be another one. But we'll have to wait and see. This is the most excited I've been for the Canmnt national team. I love it. It feels like a win, doesn't it? It feels like a win. Like I said, it feels like we're getting more and more of them. Theo's pathway similar to Liam, who couldn't crack it in the first team in the Premier League Academy and went on to Scotland and got his first loan. They just keep working for the right fit will come. Well said, James. And like, I only rate them. I only just to compare them to each other because they kind of came through at the same time. And in my opinion, before this season, Corbiano was in front of Miller in my eyes. And then Miller got, in my opinion, a better move, a permanent move. He knows that every single match is going to matter. He's going to be at Basel for the foreseeable future. So it is what it is, where Corbiano's another loan. We're going to see how he does. Can he break through at Wolves? Will he get minutes at Wednesday? It's a different outlook. And I think Miller's running with this move a little bit more than Corbiano is. But that being said, Corbiano had a great week. Played at left wing back, picked up a goal and assist. And even the Wednesday fans were wanting him to come in. But Zach comes in here, so that's a W. And you are not wrong, my man. Pretty stoked from where this team is going. This is becoming an evolution for soccer in this country. It is. For someone who grew up in a small town where hockey was the conversation. Not that I'm not a hockey fan. I am. But I don't know. It's pretty cool to see. There's a big switch, and proud to be a part of it and seeing all you guys out there being excited for this news as well. Yeah. His name was going all over the place today. I don't know. I don't want to burst anyone's bubbles. I don't know. I find that there hasn't been a lot of talk around him. He doesn't seem to be overly interested. Now, maybe this changes because, again, Ugbo came out of absolutely nowhere. Maybe it changes. If he did come in, he plays a left wing back, and that's probably where you should expect to see him, whether it's a 3-4-3. But again, I wouldn't cross your fingers. I feel like Turkey is probably a little bit ahead of us, considering that it seems like he's got a bigger tie to Turkey. He's playing in Turkey, but we'll have to see. I'd love to get him because I said depth is very, very important, and I'd play him as a left wing back though. That's where I'd play him. If he could change the eligibility rule 3 years to 3 years, not 5 apparently, especially if you were under 10 years old. That is new information to me. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Because, yeah, we're all trying to figure out where the eligibility came from to allow Ugbo to be eligible. So I'm going to take a look at that. But big shout out to Alexander for tossing that in because I did not know that. Chris says, let's go. Fired right up. Patrick said, I got my tickets. Canada versus Costa Rica on November 12th in Edmonton. Going with my daughter who turns 7 on the 13th. Got tickets in the Voyagers section. Big shout out to Patrick. Very, very jealous. Hopefully the weather is half decent so your daughter isn't freezing, and hopefully it's an awesome atmosphere, which it definitely looks like it's going to be. Thoughts on Joe Scally? Since you watch the Bundesliga, I know people rate him high. Yeah, I rate him high as well. 2 big matches against Bayern. Gladbach getting results in both. Good little look, and he got called up for the U.S. men's national team as well. So I think Joe Scally is going to be one. I mean, no offense to Reggie Cannon, but playing in the Bundesliga is a little bit better than playing in Well, at least playing for Gladbach. Gladbach's a top side in the Bundesliga, and he's getting a lot of minutes as well. So he's definitely one that U.S. men's national team fans should be excited for. But yeah, we asked the question, where is Davies' best position for the Canadian men's national team? We got he should be a winger, which I do think left wing, in my personal opinion, is his best. We got left wing back. But yeah, I don't know. I feel for myself, I like him more up front. He's that good. He's that dangerous. Left midfield is his best position in the future, in my opinion. The old 4-4-2, have David and Larin up front as your two strikers. Buchanan on the right mid, Davies on the left mid, Eustachio, Hutch through the middle, maybe K through the middle. I feel you, Brady. I feel you. Atakubi at left back, Larea at right back. It makes sense, man. A 4-4-2 makes sense. I just don't think the team plays the best in that shape, in my opinion. Davies should play as an attacking midfielder. I don't know about that. I'm not saying he can't. I think you got to utilize his pace. I think the wings is the best way to do that. John Herdman said that he expects many of the MLS players to move abroad this January. I mean, a couple players that come to mind that I would like to see move, Alistair Johnson and Kamal Miller are two for me. I think Crepeau could easily cut it in a different league. There's a lot of ones. The Scottish League comes to mind. The Turkish League comes to mind. Even the Championship. I think Larea could potentially move for the Prem, but a lot of these rumors kind of come and go. We'll have to wait and see. But we've never been this deep in World Cup qualifiers, so maybe some of the players want to make that push, so they are playing regularly. We're going to have to wait and see, but yeah, I mean, I could see it. I could definitely see it. Davies is so versatile, especially when playing for Canada. Forward, winger, and the back. I think left wing is his best. I agree with everything you just said. Seems like a reach, but in general, if Canada are able to qualify, they will only do good things for dual national. Absolutely. Like I said, having the mentality of someone like Davies and David and being able to recruit players, like when we got Eustachio through the door, when we're getting more and more of them, and we're going to get more and more of them. Let's be honest. There's good chances that Diaz, for example, could commit. Jebsen could commit. There's more names out there, and qualifying for a World Cup on your own is a big step on top of having huge personalities. And what Alphonso Davies has done to this program is massive, man. Absolutely massive. Same as John Herdman. Wait till Ronaldo Jr. picks up the U.S. on the internet. 3-5-2, Davies, David, Buchanan, Larea, Eustachio, Hutch, Osorio, Miller, Vittoria, Johnston. 3-5-2. So you have, I'm assuming, Borjan or Crepeau in net, Johnston right outside right center back, Vittoria, Miller, which I agree in. Scott Kennedy needs to get healthy again because I do think he'll be very important for us. For the midfield, so you have Larea at right wing back, Davies left wing back. You don't have Larin in there, which I'm surprised. So you have Buchanan, David as your two strikers, with Hutch, Osorio, Eustachio. Interesting. It's definitely a shape I could see them playing. I like Buchanan more on the right wing, right wing back, right midfielder position in my personal opinion. But is Tomori still eligible? He is not. Left wing, baby. I agree. Striker in a 2 partnership. Does Ugbo play over Larin? I would say no. I would say no for a couple reasons. And again, I've done only a very brief amount of research on our new Canadian, but when looking at David and looking at Larin, both of these players are playing continuous football right now. They're both starting for their sides. They're both having pretty decent seasons if you want to just subtract every Champions League match that Besiktas has played, and they're producing. So, I mean, like I said, Jonathan David is leading Liga in goals right now with 8, which is a very impressive thing. Larin is just getting fit again. He's primarily featured in a 4-2-3-1 as a left attacking mid, which is very interesting. We know he played that a lot last year where he lit up the Turkish league. I prefer him as a striker. I think it depends on the system. The other thing for me right now on just quick general research is Ugbo is not starting. He's not a locked-on starter for Genk right now, which I think hurts him a little bit. I think it's one of the most important things for representing a national team is getting consistent minutes. So hopefully he can find a way to do that. It's why Corbriano, for example, has been left out. He has not broken through it Wednesday. There's been the illnesses and not being fancied. But we're going to have to see. I would not start him over Lane right now, but he is depth that we absolutely need in that striker position. And depending on the shape, like I said, I mean, you could apparently, we haven't seen it, but you could apparently move Laren out to the wings, which is hard to also do because you have Davies and Buchanan. So there's a lot of options, and I'm very curious to see what Herdman's going to do. But for me, David and Laren are still the top 2, and this is just Ugbo just adding important depth to this side. I agree. Davies is best up front. Left wing for sure. New formation, the 2-2-6. Gareth Wheeler did you dirty. You guessed correctly, and he tweeted 0. To be fair, I tweeted him after he said that. I tweeted him after. He tweeted 0 correct guesses. I looked through the list and then remembered that whoever our viewer was, I still can't remember who it was, messaged us on our Canadian men's national team abroad series, and he told me to check out Ugbo. So I did a little bit of research, still couldn't figure out if he was eligible, but I threw it out there to Wheeler. He did not answer me. Gareth Wheeler R-bombed me hard after that, but obviously he didn't want to say, Josh, you guessed it right. Came out later. It was okay. I think we should play 3 at the back. We probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 3-5-2 setup. I'm someone who loves a 4-2-3-1. That's my preferred formation in football. It just is. But I think a back 3 is a little bit more realistic. In the Edmonton qualifiers, bad Canadian weather would benefit the Canadian national team. But yeah, it'll be happy to go out with the advantage. Too early and accuracy, but seems like we're not going to have the Arctic cold. Hoping not, man. Hoping not. Wish we were some defenders who could command. There's some out there as well. Justin Smith is one I got my eye on. We're gonna have to wait and see. You think Tata gets fired if he loses both matches this month? I think there's a good there it is. I think there's a good chance he might, but I don't know. Told you to watch him. There it is. Our guy. What am I doing? Almost. I suck. There it is. Our guy. I said I've been giving you credit all day, my man. I said someone in our videos, on our Canucks Abroad videos, told me to check him out. Right there. So huge shout out, man. And I did. I literally did check him out because I had no idea who you were talking about, and I couldn't figure out why or how he was eligible for Canada. But yeah, Turtle Niner. Big shout out, man, because you want to go to the videos, you can check it out. You absolutely did call it. Cavallini probably won't get called up again. I could see him still getting called up a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. I think Cavallini's still in it for the time being. Ugbo, for example, would take the place of Brim. Who's going to be in goal for the upcoming window, Borjan or Maxime Crepeau? I'm confident with either. I'm fairly confident Borjan is our starter. He's our skipper. He's our leader. I don't see Herman dropping him. That's just my opinion, but I'm comfortable with both as well. Do you think Davies will play left wing for club ever? He did play a match this year in a 4-2-3-1 I'm pretty sure, as a left attacking mid. If not, it was in a back 3. Lucas Hernandez was the one who can shift over to left back at outside left center back. So he did have a more attacking role for Bayern. I think it'll depend. I think he's definitely skilled enough and he's still successful. I think he would do well. It's hard with Gnabry and Sane up front to kind of get those minutes, which is why his being a lefty, just being explosive and talented the way he is, he took that left back role and ran with it. But I think depending on what the future looks like for the winger position, it could be availability, or if they ever switch to a back 3, playing in a 3-4-3 system. But we'll have to wait and see. If Tato uses to the U.S. 3 times in this year, he will be on the hot seat. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree, guys. But we're going to wrap this up today, guys. It was a fun little video. I appreciate you guys coming into the chat. Wild day. I wasn't expecting to go live the way that we did, but picked up a massive player today. Very excited. Huge day for the Canadian men's national team. Huge day for every Canadian men's national team fan. Hope you guys did enjoy this stream. If you did, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub. As Sebastian just said, congrats on 6K, because you guys are fantastic and keep supporting the channel, and we definitely appreciate it. And yeah, World Cup qualifiers are coming up, guys. So we're gonna have a couple of guests for both the Costa Rica and Mexico previews. We'll do our watch-alongs. We'll do our 5 takeaways. We'll pump you guys full of Canadian men's national team content. And we started off with gaining a new player as well. So fantastic day all around, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in for this stream. We'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, friends.